Picture this, you're born in the dead of a Viking winter when the wind howls like a wolf that's lost its pack. The longhouse is a smoky haze of damp fur, boiled cabbage and desperation. Your mother, sprawled on wool blankets that smell like last year's harvest, grips a wooden spoon like it's a battle axe. The fire sputters, barely alive, casting shadows that dance on the timber walls. The midwife, swaying from too much honeymead, mutters something about the gods being in a foul mood. You don't cry when you arrive, you roar a sound that makes the midwife flinch and spill her drink. Your father, a grizzled raider, who's faced Saxon spears and claims he once punched a troll, stares at you bundled in a goat trough crib and grumbles, "This one's trouble." The village huddled against the frost nods like it's a prophecy. You're a girl, which means the odds are stacked against you from the start. The North Sea's a cruel neighbour, and life's a gamble where the stakes are frostbite or a bad marriage. But there's a whisper in the air, a chance you might dodge it all death drudgery, or a husband who smells like fish and becomes something rare, a Shieldmaiden. Your crib's a splintered trough shared with a carved owl, a scrap of wool and a spider named Hilda, who's decided she's family. No lullabies here, just the grind of an axe being sharpened and the snores of men who dream of blood. A hound lumbers by, licking your forehead like it's checking you're still alive. This is your world raw, loud and reeking of smoke. The fire keeps you warm, the milk keeps you fed, and the lice. They show up by week's end right on schedule. Someone carves you a wooden dagger for teething. You don't chew it, you clutch it like a warrior sizing up her first foe. The village already calls you the loud one, and they're not wrong. Your name, something like Freyhild or Brynhild, means gods help anyone who crosses her. You survive that first night, which is more than some can say. The longhouse creaks under the weight of snow, and you, barely a day old, are already glaring at the world like it owes you a fight. Like, subscribe and drop a comment, where are you listening from and what's the vibe tonight? Dim the lights, let the fan hum and settle in. This is just the beginning of your saga, and trust me, it's going to be a wild ride. You're 2 years old, and the Viking world is your battlefield. You're not toddling, you're charging a tiny terror with a sheepbone clutched like a warhammer. The longhouse yard is your arena, a churned-up mess of mud livestock and questionable smells. Your toys forget plush bears. You've got a wooden horse missing a leg and scarred from cousin bites, a pig bladder ball that's seen better days, and a stick that's a sword, a wand, or a tool to whack anything smaller than you. The mud's your playground, shared with goats that glare like they're plotting revenge. Everything's a hazard, sharp, flammable, or weirdly edible, sometimes all at once. You swallow a fish hook once. The village cheers when it reappears. That's Viking parenting survival's the only rule. Games are brutal and glorious. Catch the chicken leaves you scratched. Rock-throwing contests end in bruises. Raiding the neighbour's firewood pile sparks yelling matches that echo across the fjord. Your favourite, ambushing your cousin, which usually ends with someone crying and an elder bellowing Thor's beard, "Not again." You learn fast, lick your food to claim it never touched someone's comb, and let the chieftain's dog steal a bite unless you want to lose a finger. Education. It's watching your mother grind grain, your father sharpen blades, and your brothers try to lift a goat and fail spectacularly. By 4, you can start a fire, skin a rabbit, and spot a lie from across the room. Honeycakes vanish under your sneaky fingers, and getting caught just means you're practicing. You're not quiet or obedient, you're a whirlwind with dirt in your braids and pride in your chest. Your grandmother, who swears she sees ghosts, pats your head and cackles. This one'll scare men senseless. You don't get it yet, but the words stick like burrs. The longhouse smells of sweat and stew. The fjord glitters under a weak sun, and you're already dreaming of battles you can't name. Keep those lights low, maybe crack a window for that crisp night air. What's your favourite Viking vibe raids or resilience? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this saga rolling. You're 5 and the Viking world is a school with no walls, no chalk, just cold hard lessons carved into your bones. Forget classrooms or cosy reading circles. Your education is the sting of frost on your cheeks and the weight of a blade in your small hands. Your first lesson. Don't fall in the fjord. You do, of course, and the icy water slaps you like an angry god. Lesson 2, if it's steaming, don't touch it. You learn that one the hard way too, with a burn on your palm that blisters for a week. The Norse curriculum is simple watch repeat or get yelled at by adults wielding sharp tools and sharper tongues. Math is counting sheep and spoons lose either, and you'll feel the consequences in a glare that could curdle milk. Your mother shows you how to grind grain without losing a finger, her hand steady as she mutters about patience. Your father teaches you to hold a knife without flinching, his voice gruff but proud when you don't drop it. Your uncle gutting a fish explains how to slice clean and quick, while your aunt with a sly grin whispers about gutting a man's ego. Same principle, less blood. Runes on a stone spell death, and you memorize them like a prayer. Words like hit, bleed, and run become your vocabulary, each one earned through scrapes and stumbles. Songs aren't for soothing. They're sagas of blood feuds and warriors with ribs ripped out hummed, while you haul firewood. By 6 you can sharpen a blade, tie a knot that won't slip, and tell when the goats are spooked by an incoming storm. You're a liar now, too convincing adults you didn't steal those berries, and your rock-throwing aim is downright tactical. This isn't raising a child, it's forging a tiny warrior in a world that smells of smoke and salt. When you get it right, no one claps. They grunt, nod, and let you try again with less hovering. You're not a kid in the modern sense, just a small adult with dirt under your nails and a spark in your eyes that says you're ready for more. Dim those lights, let the fans hum, carry you north. What's the wildest skill you'd want to learn? Viking style, toss it in the comments, and let's keep this fire burning. Puberty crashes into you like a badly aimed longship, all chaos and no warning. You wake up one morning taller, smellier, and brimming with a rage that feels like it could topple a fjord. Your face is an oil slick, your sweat could stun a boar, and your knees creak like a sack of gravel. No one hands you a guidebook. Your mother tosses you a scrap of wool, says deal with it, and goes back to skinning a rabbit. You do, because whining's not an option in a village where the wind's meaner than the neighbours. Your chores don't care about your mood swings, you're still hauling water, chopping wood and wrestling goats that seem to hate you personally. Every step comes with back pain and a strange urge to stab something which everyone assures you is perfectly normal. Training gets serious now. Wooden sticks are swapped for dull iron blades, not to keep you safe, but to save the village from replacing you too soon. You spar with boys who tower over you, and when you knock one flat, you're told not to gloat. You do anyway, whispering your victory to the goats who don't care but listen better than most. Girls your age start braiding their hair with flowers, giggling at boys. You braid yours tight so it doesn't snag in a fight, and when a boy tries flirting, you challenge him to spar. Most slink away, the brave ones limp after. Nights are spent cleaning blades, eating stew that tastes like regret, and dreaming of shield walls, not weddings. Your reflection in a polished shield shows bruised arms, wild hair, and eyes that scream trouble. You're not a girl anymore, you're a storm waiting to break. The village watches you differently now, like you're a blade that's just been sharpened. Your father grunts approval over extra fish at dinner. Your mother's nod feels like a saga written in silence. You're carving your place in a world that doesn't hand out spots easily, and it feels like fire in your chest. Keep that fan humming, maybe crack a window to feel the Viking chill. What's your favourite rebel moment? Drop it in the comments, and let's charge into the next part of this saga. You turn 12, and in Viking years that's practically adulthood with a side of bad decisions. Your birthday isn't marked with cakes or songs, nobody's got time for that. When the fjord's half frozen, and the goats are screaming for hay. Instead, your father, his face like weathered leather, hands you a bundle wrapped in a rough cloth. It's heavy cold and smells faintly of iron. You peel back the layers, expecting maybe a new knife, or if you're really unlucky, a broom. But no, it's an axe-iron bladed, leather-wrapped, sharp enough to split a log or a skull with equal ease. Your heart thumps like a war drum. This isn't a tool, it's a promise. You name it on the spot, because giving it a name feels like taming a wolf. Something fierce like wolf-biter rolls off your tongue, though you half consider mittens just to mess with everyone. Outside you swing it, and your first try is a disaster. Misses the target, nearly takes out a fence and makes a chicken scatter like it saw Odin himself. Your second swing clips your own foot. Blood seeps through your boot, but you don't cry. You just sit there staring at the axe like it's testing you. Your uncle bandages your toe, chuckling. That's how you learn. He offers you a pig's ear. You pass. The next weeks are a blur of trial and error, mostly error. You hack at logs, hay dummies, and a training post that now leans like a drunk sailor. Your hands blister, your back aches, but you learn how to oil the handle, sharpen the blade swing without twisting like you're dancing at a feast gone wrong. You train alone under a grey sky or with your cousin who spins like a fool before each strike, thinking Thor's watching. He's not. One day you block a blow counter and land a solid hit on your cousin's ribs. He wheezes, drops his stick and mutters about stars. You don't gloat much. That night you lay the axe beside your bed, not for show, but because you're starting to understand this isn't just a weapon. It's you forged in calluses and stubborn grit. Dim the lights, let the fan hum like a distant sea. What's the fiercest gift you've ever gotten? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this saga swinging. You're at training axe in hand, minding your own business, when a boy taller, cockier, and fresh off a sparring win leans over and smirks. Sure you want to fight, don't want to break a nail. The words land like a spark on dry straw. You don't snap back. You just step into the ring, nod to the instructor, and grip your axe tighter. The boy's already half-turned, joking with his friends, one of whom mutters, "Go easy on her." You don't plan to make it easy. The first swing is blocked, the clash of wood and iron ringing in your ears. Your second grazes his shoulder and his smirk falters. The third, it lands square on his chest, a thud that sent him staggering back, gasping like a fish yanked from the fjord. He recovers, swings wild, but you're ready. You duck, sweep his legs, and down he goes splashing into the mud like a sacked village. You plant a foot on his chest just for a heartbeat as the crowd goes quiet. The boys stop cheering. The instructor coughs. Even the goats watching from the fence seem to nod approval. You toss your braid back like it's a battle flag and walk off without a word. The boy coughs, mumbles something like "good match," and limps away pride, as bruised as his ribs. Later an elder pulls you aside. You brace for a lecture, but he just grunts. Good footwork. Your mother gives a rare nod. Your father raises an eyebrow and slides you extra dried fish at dinner, a Viking standing ovation. The boy avoids your gaze for a week. When he finally meets your eyes, it's with the wary respect you'd give a bear you accidentally poked. You learn something that day. You don't need to shout to be heard or smile to be feared. Victory smells like sweat mud and slightly burnt stew, and it's a scent you'll chase forever. Keep that fan spinning, maybe grab a blanket for that Viking chill. What's your favourite underdog win? Share it in the comments, and let's charge into the next part of this saga. You're not a kid anymore, not by Viking standards, where every bruise is a badge and every scar a story. Your mornings start with drills in the frost, your axe slicing through fog as your breath clouds the air. Nights end with aches in muscles you didn't know you had your hands wrapped in leather to hide the scabs. You can name injuries by their sting, sprains a dull throb, bruise a sharp bite ego still smarting from when your grandmother pinned you in a wrestle last week. Your braid's longer now, tied back tight so it doesn't catch in your helmet or get grabbed by some fool who thinks he's clever. Other girls weave in beads. You knot in leather strips and a wolf's tooth, not yours, thankfully. Training's not about swinging an axe anymore. It's about keeping your head when someone's trying to take it off. You spar with men now, their blows heavy, their mercy non-existent. Hesitation costs more than blood, it costs respect. Your shield arm's stronger than your swinging one, and your fingers are calloused knots. You don't win every fight, but you never stop moving, and that's what makes them watch you closer. One day, mid-spar, a giant of a warrior, twice your size with a beard like a bird's nest, lands a blow that splits your shield clean down the middle. Splinters fly and the crowd gasps. You toss the wreckage aside, grip your axe and charge, blood dripping from a cut you don't feel yet. You lose, but you fight like a storm trapped in skin and nobody forgets it. That's the day the elders start saying your name differently, not like a child to scold, but like a warrior to rely on. No one hands you a title. No runes glow, no thunder cracks the sky. But when you take your place in the shield wall, shoulder to shoulder with grizzled raiders, nobody smirks anymore. You're not just a girl with an axe, you're a Shieldmaiden forged in sweat and stubbornness. Dim those lights, let the fans hum, carry you to the fjord. What's the moment you proved yourself? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this saga roaring. You finally make it onto a longship, and within an hour you're cursing every choice that led you here. The deck's slick with spray. The wind's a bully that slaps your face, and the rowing bench feels like it was carved to personally offend your spine. You're packed in elbow to elbow with warriors who smell like wet leather, stale sweat, and dreams that drowned 3 days ago. Move an inch, and your knee bumps an axe. Shift again, and someone sneezes into your braid. A seagull screeches overhead, mocking your life decisions. Rowing isn't heroic, it's torture dressed as teamwork. By mid-morning, your hands blister. By noon, your blisters have blisters raw and screaming. You're doing it right, someone grunts, which is about as comforting as a kick. Meals are a grim affair, dried fish that taste like despair. Bread hard enough to club a seal, and water that's more ambition than fact. You chew slowly, wondering if mutiny's an option. At night you curl against the ship's side, using your shield as a blanket and your axe as a pillow. The waves rock you, the crew snores like a thunderstorm, and you lie awake half convinced this voyage was planned by someone who hates joy. But beneath the misery there's something else, a spark. The sea stretches endless, glittering like a saga yet unwritten. The crew's grumbles hide a bond forged in shared suffering. You've earned your spot here not as a tag-along, but as a warrior who rows, bleeds and endures. When a dark shoreline creeps into view, your hands throb, your shoulders burn, and your heart hammers like Thor's anvil. You're exhausted, seasick and soaked, but you're ready. This boat's not just wood and rope, it's a crucible, and you're being forged. Keep that fan spinning, maybe crack a window for that salty breeze. What's the toughest journey you've tackled? Share it in the comments and let's sail into the next part of this saga. The longship scrapes the shore, and your stomach lurches not from guilt, but from the raw panic of what's coming. This is your first raid, and it's nothing like the sagas. No gleaming heroes, no slow-motion glory, just a muddy beach and a village that looks too peaceful to deserve what's about to hit it. Thatched roofs, puff smoke, chickens cluck, and somewhere a goat bleats like it knows your trouble. You leap off the boat, nearly twisting an ankle in the soft sand, and charge with the others. Your battle cry less Odin's wrath, and more like a goat choking on a turnip. It's fine you're new. Your first foe isn't a warrior. It's a chicken flapping at you like it's possessed by a vengeful spirit. You sidestep barely and swing your axe at a man clutching a pitchfork. He drops it and bolts. You chase him for 3 steps, then remember looting's the goal. You kick down a storage hut's door and find treasure a wheel of cheese, glorious and waxy. You grab it feeling like Thor himself. Outside, chaos reigns. Shouts fire, someone trips over a bucket, another warrior starts singing for no reason. A comrade yells to Odin and promptly falls into a well. You're starting to get why Viking raids are both terrifying and deeply confusing. The village fights back weakly, then crumbles. You haul your cheese, a stolen spoon and a bruised shin back to the boat. It's not what you dreamed. No epic speeches, just noise, adrenaline, and the realization you've been screaming for 20 minutes straight. But you're alive, your axe still in hand, and your tunic smells like panic and goat sweat. You didn't just survive, you raided, and that rush, that power burns in your chest like a hearth that'll never go out. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a distant war drum. What's the wildest challenge you've faced? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this saga blazing. You're slumped over your oar, back on the longship, smelling like someone torched a pile of damp regret. The village is a smouldering speck on the horizon, probably wondering what it did to deserve you. Your tunic's torn, your boots are caked in mud, and a cut on your shoulder, pointed out by a grinning warrior, stings like a wasp with a grudge. That'll scar nicely, he says, like it's a compliment. Your hands are blistered, your thighs cramp, and a chicken feather's glued to your braid, maybe from the raid, maybe from lunch. The rowback is quiet, just groans, chewing, and someone retelling how they fought off 5 villagers. You saw him drop his sword in a puddle and cry, but you let him have his moment. Food gets passed around, dried fish, hard bread, and a flask of ale that tastes like triumph and mildew. You sip it wincing and expect victory to feel louder, like a saga bellowed by skalds. Instead, it's a deep ache between your ribs, a satisfaction that settles like embers. You did it, crossed the sea, held your ground, came back with cheese and a story. By nightfall, you're at camp, the fire crackling, meat sizzling. Someone snoring into their helmet. You sit cross-legged, staring into the flames, half expecting Odin to pop up and say something profound. He doesn't, but a warrior passes you a roasted turnip, which is close enough. Laughter ripples worn and raw from people who survived something stupid together. You laugh too, not because it's funny, but because you were there and you didn't die. As you curl up with your shield and dented helmet, the waves whispering nearby, you know, this is just the first raid of many. Your body aches, but your heart's full. You've earned your rest tonight. Keep that fan spinning, maybe crack a window for that smoky camp vibe. What's your favourite victory moment? Share it in the comments and let's row into the next part of this saga. Raiding season's done, and you limp home dreaming of rest, maybe a hero's welcome. Instead, you get winter, Viking winter, the kind that bites your nose and chews your morale to scraps. The fjords iced over the longships, dragged inland and flipped like a sulking dragon. You stow your armour, but there's no break, just survival on hard mode. Chores pile up like snowdrifts, chopping firewood until your fingers go numb, hauling water from a stream that glares like it wants your soul. The goats, your eternal enemies, now depend on you for hay and warmth. You don't like them, but you respect their stubbornness. They scream at 3 AM anyway, because of course they do. Food's a grim saga of its own. Fresh meat's a memory. Now it's smoked fish, dried fish, and fish pickled in something that doubles as boot polish. For variety, there's turnip mash, which tastes like sadness boiled in regret. You eat in silence, bundled in every scrap of wool you own, smelling like damp fur and despair. Your hair hasn't been dry in weeks, your toes feel like distant cousins, and your shield gathers dust. You polish it anyway, clinging to the ghost of summer's glory. The longhouse is a smoky trap crammed with family who argue over firewood placement and why the stew smells like socks. You train outside in the snow just to escape, even if your fingers freeze to your axe. Yet something shifts. You get tougher, colder in all the right ways. Silence becomes your friend and you stop noticing the pickled stench. One morning the snow softens, a bird chirps like it's testing hope, and the fjord's ice cracks. Spring's coming, and with it raiding season. Winter didn't break you, it sharpened you, and you're itching to swing that axe again. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a winter gale. What's the toughest season you've endured? Drop it in the comments, and let's keep this saga thawing. Winter's barely loosened its grip when the marriage proposal starts slinking in like uninvited guests. First comes a farmer's son clutching dried fish, and a grin too hopeful for his own good. He says you'd make a strong wife. You ask how well he swings an axe. He blinks, admits he doesn't do weapons, and you counter that you don't do men who can't hold a blade. He's gone before the fish stops stinking. Next guy tries harder, offering an antler comb carved with care. You take it, scratch your hound's ears with it, and watch his face fall. He doesn't come back. Soon it's a parade of suitors, each with tokens, and nervous sweat, hoping to tame the village's wild Shieldmaiden. Tame, you'd rather wrestle a bear. You want raid spas and feasts where nobody drones on about goats. Your Aunt Three Husbands deep in Valhalla says you should settle. You tell her you'll settle when your axe rusts. She mutters about dying alone. You fire back that dying gloriously sounds better. One bold fool challenges you to a duel, calling it tradition. You agree, and he limps away with a shield-shaped bruise and a lesson in humility. Word spreads you're not here for cooking stew or arguing over blankets. The proposals dry up, and you're fine with that. Love's not off the table, but it'd need to hit harder than a war drum to get your attention. Village girls whisper you're too proud. Boys mutter you're terrifying. Both are right. You spend evenings on the training field not weaving, polishing your blade instead of planning weddings. Your axe sleeps beside you, silent and loyal. Keep that fan spinning, maybe crack a window for that crisp Viking air. What's the boldest stand you've taken? Share it in the comments, and let's charge into the next part of this saga. This isn't a raid or a skirmish over stolen goats, this is war, and it creeps up like a shadow before dawn. The silence is heavy, the kind that makes the earth seem like it's holding its breath. No stirring speeches, just your chieftain muttering, "Don't die stupid," as he laces his boots. You nod, because that's about as inspiring as it gets. You stand in the shield wall, shoulder to shoulder with warriors you've fought beside and occasionally insulted over bad stew. Your shield feels like it's gained weight overnight, and your breathing's louder than you'd like. Somewhere someone retches. Another hums a saga about blood and glory. Then it begins. The first clash is chaos shield, slam swords scream, and the air smells of iron and fear. You block swing duck stab, moving faster than thought. It's not strategy, it's survival at a sprint. Your shield cracks under a blow, so you switch to your axe. When that breaks, you grab a spear from a man who won't need it anymore. Time blurs and you lose track of what you're shouting, maybe Norse, maybe nonsense. You stumble, landing in mud next to a body that looks too familiar. A shadow looms. You roll, dodging a blade by a whisker. You grab a rock and swing it works somehow. When the battle finally stops, the field is quiet, but it's not peace. It's the silence of the dead who won't breathe again. You sit covered in blood that's only half yours, trying to remember how to feel anything: fear, pride, hunger. A bird lands nearby and bolts like it knows better than to linger. You survived against all odds, and when someone asks how you shrug and mutter, "Didn't have a better plan." It's a lie, but the truth's too raw, too messy. You're not the same warrior who stood in that wall at dawn. Dim those lights, let the fans hum carry you to the battlefield. What's a moment you faced that changed you? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this saga raging. You're still you, same scarred boots, same axe, same stew, stain on your cloak, that's practically family now, but the village sees you differently. After the war, you're not just a fighter, you're a story whispered over fires and ale. Someone dubs you Goat Hammer, thanks to a ridiculous tale involving a fleeing enemy and an unlucky goat. Another calls you the one who wouldn't die, which sounds better but isn't quite true. You just got lucky and stubborn. You don't argue, let them weave their sagas. The truth is bloodier, less poetic, and smells like mud. When you walk through the village, people step aside not out of fear but like they're unsure if you'll challenge them or just ask for a fish. You nod, they nod back, cautious as if you're a storm with braids. Kids dare each other to touch your shield when you're not looking. One boy tries, and you catch him mid-sneak handing him your axe. He freezes, you say nothing, and he scampers off pale as snow. Warriors start asking your take before raids not out of courtesy, but because you've seen the abyss and walked away. You're a veteran now, a problem solver, a cautionary tale with a mean swing. A merchant bows too low, calling you Mistress of Blades. You spit in a bucket and ask if he brought better cheese. He nearly faints. At night around the fire, you hear your story retold wrong, of course, with thunder ravens and a berserker kiss you never gave. You stay quiet. It's funnier that way. Fame wasn't your goal. You just wanted to fight to carve a place in a world that didn't think you deserved one. Now you carry it like your shield, worn, dented, ready. You wonder if they'll ever stop shaking long enough to talk straight. Keep that fan humming, maybe crack a window for that smoky fire vibe. What's a moment you became a legend in your own way? Share it in the comments and let's charge into the next part of this saga. You're not the youngest anymore. Your joints creaking like old timbers in the morning chill. A new crop of girls crowds the training field, their braids too tight. Axes gripped like they're scared the wood might bite. They're loud, brimming with untested bravado, dreaming of battles they haven't seen. You catch your reflection in their wide eyes, fierce, bruised, but with less of the reckless hope they carry. Your wrist pops when it's cold, a scar on your ribs itches before snow, and you heal slower now, the pain lingering like a guest who overstays the feast. But you're not softer, just harder in the places that count, forged by years of mud, blood and stubbornness. These young shield maidens watch you like you're a storm that might swing at any moment. They ask questions breathless and eager. How do you win your first fight? You lean on your axe, squint and say, "Don't die." They laugh, thinking it's a jest, but you mean it. How do you make them respect you? You smirk. Break their nose, then help them up. It's half a joke, half a truth, and they scribble it in their minds. When one asks when the fear stops, you don't lie. It doesn't. You just get better at hiding it. You train them not to prove anything, but to keep your edge sharp, sparring lighter, eating slower, speaking only when the words carry weight. The Longhouse rarely hears your voice now, and that's how you like it. You're no hero to them, just a warning carved in scars and leather. When you raid, they check if you're coming. If you are, they breathe easier. If not, they double-check their armour. Your axe, notched and worn, has outlived every suitor who thought they could tame you. You're not done, not by a long shot, but you're starting to see your legacy in their clumsy swings. Keep that fan humming, let the night air carry the weight of the fjord. What's the best advice you've ever given? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this saga sharp. You don't raid as often. Now your body's got too many stories etched in scars to leap into every fray. But when you do, the crew checks to see if your axe is on board. If it is, they relax a fraction. If not, they mutter prayers to Thor. This raid's no different, the longships slicing through waves that spit like angry gods. The shore looms a quiet village with smoke curling from chimneys, unaware of the storm about to break. You disembark, boots sinking into sand, your axe. Wolfbiter, leather-wrapped and notched, feeling like an old friend. The crew moves like a pack and you're not leading, not shouting, just steady, a blade they trust. The raid's a blur of fire and chaos. You sidestep a spear block, a desperate farmer's swing, and loot a sack of grain and a silver cup that catches your eye. No heroics, just work efficient, brutal, done. A young warrior trips. You haul her up, muttering feet, not feelings. She nods, eyes wide, and you see yourself in her years ago, all fury and no finesse. Back on the ship, your hands ache. Your braid's a mess, and a cut on your arm stings like a bad memory. The crew shares ale laughs, and someone exaggerates their kills. You sip silent, letting the sea's rhythm settle your bones. This isn't your last raid, not yet, but it feels different, like you're carrying the weight of every fight before. Your axe, battle-worn but still sharp, rests beside you as the shore fades. You didn't set out to be legendary, just to survive, to carve a space in a world that didn't want you. Now you're a name they whisper, a blade they fear. You'll fight again when it's needed, or maybe just for the thrill. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like the sea. What's a moment you felt truly unstoppable? Share it in the comments and let's sail into the final part of this saga. You sit by the fire, the crackle of wood blending with the distant murmur of the fjord. Your axe, Wolfbiter, rests against your knee, its blade notched from battles, and its handle worn smooth by your grip. You're older now, your scars a map of fights won, and lost your joints grumbling like a longhouse door in a storm. The village knows you as Goathammer, a name born from a ridiculous tale, or the one who wouldn't die, which isn't quite true but sounds good. You never wanted to be a legend, just a warrior who could stand in the shield wall and not flinch. Yet here you are, a story told in whispers, a warning to those who think strength comes from size or swagger. Younger Shieldmaidens still watch you, their eyes sharp with hunger for glory. You don't preach or boast. You just show them how to swing cleaner, stand firmer, live louder. The world tried to cage you with marriage offers, with doubts, with winters that chewed souls. You answered with your axe, your defiance, your refusal to be anything less than a storm. Now as you trace a scar on your hand, you realise you've carved more than wood or flesh. You've carved a place for those who come after girls who'll braid their hair with leather and teeth, not flowers. You'll fight again when it's necessary, or maybe just for the joy of it, because that's who you are, not just a shield maiden, but a spark that says I was here and I mattered. The fire dims and you pull your cloak tighter, the weight of your legacy settling like snow. You smile, just a little, knowing you've lived on your terms, bloody bruised and gloriously free. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a fading saga. What's the legacy you want to leave? Drop it in the comments, and let's close this Viking chapter with a roar. Imagine you're sick in ancient Greece, not reaching for a pill, but packing a bag for a pilgrimage to a temple of Asclepius, the god of healing. You're headed to Epidaurus, where marble columns gleam under starlight, and the air smells of laurel and sacrifice. Your body aches, your fever burns, but hope pulls you forward like a tide. At the sanctuary you bathe in sacred springs, the water cool against your skin, washing away the world's grit. You offer a rooster, its feathers catching the breeze, and step into the abaton, a dim stone chamber where the air feels heavy with divine whispers. You lie on a simple mat, the floor cold, and then you notice them snakes slithering softly in the shadows, sacred to Asclepius, symbols of renewal. Your heart skips, but you stay still because this is the deal, sleep here and the god might visit. You close your eyes, the silence wrapping you like a cloak, and drift into a dream. Asclepius appears, his face calm, his hand brushing your fevered leg or pressing a bitter herb to your lips. It's not just a vision, it's a prescription, a divine nudge toward healing. Morning comes and you tell the priest your dream, his eyes sharp as he decodes it like a map. He might send you to boil herbs or rest longer, but you leave feeling lighter, like the gods heard you. This isn't just medicine, it's a conversation with the cosmos, a blend of faith and focus that soothes your soul as much as your body. Scholars call it an early placebo, but to you it's real, etched in the marble testimonies of healed limbs and restored sight. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a temple breeze. What's a moment you felt healed by hope? Share it in the comments and let's drift into this ancient world. In ancient Mesopotamia, illness isn't just a cough or a fever, it's personal, a jab from a demon sent by an angry god, or a jealous neighbour's curse. You're in the land between the Tigris and Euphrates, where the air smells of dust and incense, and healing feels like an exorcism. Your cure. A simple clay bowl etched with spiralling Aramaic spells flipped upside down and buried under your doorstep. These incantation bowls, or Babylonian demon bowls, are your spiritual bug zappers designed to trap malevolent spirits like flies in a jar. The inscriptions are wild, invoking angels, saints, and cosmic powers to bind the demon forever, sometimes with a crude sketch of the spirit chained, and looking distinctly annoyed, a magical mugshot meant to shame it into submission. You dig a shallow pit under your threshold where demons lurk like nosy neighbours waiting to sneak in. The bowl's words name your family, your complaints, even that rival sorcerer down the street who's been eyeing your goats. You bury it, and the act feels like locking a door against the unseen. It's not just healing, it's defence, a way to give fear a shape and trap it in clay. Modern doctors might scoff, but there's logic here. Naming your terror, giving it a container, makes the world less chaotic. You sleep easier knowing that dusty bowl under your floor is working overtime, holding back the shadows with ink and hope. Keep that fan spinning, maybe crack a window for that desert air. What's something you've done to ward off bad vibes? Drop it in the comments and let's keep exploring this ancient magic. You're in ancient Egypt where healing smells like honey and sounds like whispered chants along the Nile. Illness isn't just a body failing, It's a world out of balance, and the fix is as much about scent as it is about science. Picture yourself at a temple, the air thick with frankincense, a priest-doctor or Sun, mixing a salve under the watchful eye of Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess of plagues. Your headache throbs, but they hand you a cup of wine steeped with blue lotus, its petals vibrant as the sky. You sip, and a gentle euphoria washes over, easing your pain like a river smoothing stones. The lotus isn't just pretty, it's sacred, linking you to divine dreams. Its fragrance curling through feasts, temples, even tombs where mummies clutch its blooms for eternity. The Egyptians don't stop there. Their medicine chest is a marvel, catalogued in scrolls like the Ebers Papyrus, 20 metres of remedies from garlic paste to yes crocodile dung suppositories. You wince, but honey dressings for wounds work wonders, their antibacterial magic proven even today. For a toothache, they might plop a cooked mouse on your gum, chanting to drive the pain out like a rude guest. It's half spell, half science, and you're not arguing when the pain fades. These doctors set bones, check your pulse, even study your urine, but every cure's a prayer tying your body to the eternal. You leave the temple lotus-scented and lighter feeling like the cosmos just gave you a nod. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like Nile reeds. What's a remedy that's worked for you, ancient or modern? Share it in the comments and let's keep this healing journey flowing. In the Siberian tundra, where the wind cuts like a blade and the stars feel close enough to touch illness, isn't just a body breaking. It's your soul wandering off, stolen by spirits or scared away by trauma. You're listless, your dreams heavy, and the village whispers of soul loss. Enter the shaman, no ordinary healer but a cosmic traveller, part priest, part warrior, wrapped in furs and rattling with bone charms. You sit by a fire, its smoke curling like a bridge to the unseen, as the shaman begins a drum's heartbeat, thumping chants rising like frost from their lips. They've fasted, maybe sipped a brew of bitter herbs, and now they're slipping into the spirit world, eyes half-closed, body swaying like a tree in a storm. This isn't a metaphor. The shaman's journey is real, a battle through realms of ancestors and trickster spirits to find your missing soul piece. They might wrestle a demon bargain with a river god, or follow a wolf spirit's howl to where your soul hides. Back in the tent, you hear the drum's pulse, feel the air shift as they return shaking, maybe miming a struggle as they blow sacred smoke over you, guiding your spirit home. It's not just you healing, it's the village, the fire, the tundra itself all stitched back together. Today you'd call it therapy for grief or shock, but here it's a rescue mission, raw and mythic. You wait clearer like a fog's lifted. Keep that fan spinning, let it carry the drum's echo. What's a time you felt whole again? Drop it in the comments and let's venture deeper into this ancient world. You're in ancient India, where healing is less about battling sickness and more about dancing with the universe's rhythm. Your stomach's sour, your mind's a fog Ayurveda. The knowledge of life says it's not just bad lentils, it's your doshas out of tune. Picture yourself under a banyan tree, a healer studying your pulse, their fingers light as a breeze. They say your vata air and space is too wild, making you restless. You're a mix of vata pitta fire and water, and kapha earth and water, and your unique blend shapes your temper, your dreams, even your love for spicy chutney. The cure, harmony, not war. The healer prescribes warm sesame oil drizzled on your forehead in Shirodhara, a steady stream that calms your nerves like a lullaby. You sip turmeric tea for inflammation, chew ashwagandha for strength, and avoid cold foods that'd rile your vata more. Meditation's your medicine too, sitting still, breathing deep, chanting softly to align your soul. It's not just physical. Greed or anger can tip your doshas as much as spoiled yogurt. The Karaka Samhiti, an ancient text, guides your healer, blending herb lore with philosophy. You leave feeling like a river finding its course, your body and spirit realigned. This isn't just healing, it's a sacred nudge back to life's pulse, warm and oily. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a monsoon breeze. What's a time you found balance? Share it in the comments, and let's keep this ancient wisdom flowing. In ancient China, your body's a river, and health is the flow of qi, life's invisible current. You're tired, your head aches, and a healer says your qi's stuck like a stream clogged with leaves. You sit in a room, smelling of ginger and herbs, the healer's eyes sharp as they check your tongue and pulse each wrist, telling a tale. Your liver's angry. They say your kidneys' fearful diagnosis as poetic as a scroll. It's not just illness, it's yin and yang out of sync, too much fire, not enough water. The fix unblock the flow, tune your body like a lute. They pull out needles thin as whispers and tap them along Meridian's paths where chi runs. You tense expecting pain, but it's a soft prick. Then a strange calm like a knot in your soul unravels. Acupuncture's just one tool. They might burn mugwort near your skin in moxibustion, or prescribe ginseng tea to stoke your inner fire. The Huangdi Neijing, the Yellow Emperor's classic, guides them, linking seasons, emotions, even politics to your health. Your body's a tiny universe, and healing's about harmony, not conquest. You leave lighter, your chi flowing like a spring breeze. Keep that fan spinning, maybe crack a window for that herbal scent. What's a moment you felt energy shift? Drop it in the comments, and let's keep exploring this ancient art. You're in southern Africa, where illness isn't just a body's betrayal, it's a tear in the web of family ancestors and spirits. Your strength's fading, your dreams troubled, and the village calls for a sangoma, a healer who bridges the living and the dead. Picture yourself in a hut, the air thick with smoke and the scent of burning herbs. A fire crackling like it's whispering secrets. The sangoma, draped in beads and furs, shakes a handful of bones, shells and trinkets, casting them onto a woven mat. The scatter tells a story, maybe a curse, an ancestor's displeasure, or a wound in your soul. It's like reading the stars, but earthy aurora. The ritual begins with drums, their pulse shaking your chest, and songs that pull the spirits closer. The sangoma dances, eyes half closed, maybe slipping into a trance to hear the ancestors' whispers. They might burn roots for cleansing smoke, rub herb paste into your skin, or call your name into the night, binding you back to the community. If the spirits demand it, a chicken's blood or sacred ash seals the rite. It's not just medicine, it's moral too. You confess a grudge, apologise for a slight, or face the family to mend old rifts. Healing here is loud, communal, mythic, stitching you back into the world's rhythm. You leave lighter like a storm's past. Keep that fan humming, let it carry the drum's beat. What's a time you felt part of something bigger? Share it in the comments, and let's keep this ritual alive. Across Native American lands, healing isn't about patching a wound. It's about purifying your whole being, body and spirit, in harmony with the earth. You're weary, your heart heavy, and the elders call for a sweat lodge, a ceremony of steam and rebirth. Imagine a dome of willow branches draped in hides, dark as a womb. You crawl inside the air, warm and earthy, sitting in a circle with others bare or wrapped in simple cloth. In the centre, a pit holds glowing stones, grandfathers heated in a fire outside. A leader pours water laced with sage over them, and steam rises thick and heavy, wrapping you like a memory. The heat bites, but you stay singing songs in languages that carry centuries. Each round grows fiercer, guided by themes. Gratitude, forgiveness, calling to ancestors. Sweat pours, stripping away toxins and burdens. In the darkness, you might see visions, feel grief crack open, or find a peace you didn't expect. It's no spa. The discomfort's the medicine pushing you to listen to yourself, the spirit's the earth. Outside, you smudge with cedar smoke, cleansing lingering shadows. The lodge isn't just a ritual, it's a return to balance, to the land, to who you are. You step out, lungs clear, heart steady, ready to walk strong again. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like sacred steam. What's a moment you felt renewed? Drop it in the comments, and let's close this healing chapter with strength. You're standing on the rugged coast of South Africa 75,000 years ago, where the sea roars and the wind tastes of salt. Life's a grind, hunting, gathering, dodging predators, but you pause to pick up a mollusk shell, small and pearled, glinting in the sun. You don't just toss it, you pierce it with a bone tool, smooth its edges and string it with sinew. This isn't idle crafting. At Blombos Cave, your people create the world's oldest jewellery, not for vanity, but for meaning. Each bead, painstakingly shaped, is a word in a silent language saying who you are, where you belong, or maybe that you're ready to love. These shells aren't random trinkets. They're deliberate, arranged in patterns traded across vast distances. A necklace of them might mark you as part of a clan, a survivor of a hunt, or someone who's faced the sea's wrath. They're talismans too, warding off spirits or carrying the ocean's power. When you wear them, the clink against your chest feels like a heartbeat tying you to your people, your land, your story. Survival's brutal, yet you make time for this beauty carved from nature's scraps. It's not just adornment, it's a rebellion against a world that doesn't care if you live. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a coastal breeze. What's a small thing that holds big meaning for you? Share it in the comments, and let's thread this ancient story forward. You're in Ice Age Europe 30,000 years ago, where frostbites and mammoths roam. Death is close, but when a child in Sunghear, Russia, barely 10 passes, you don't just bury them, you honour them with a labour of love. You carve over 4,000 ivory beads from mammoth tusks, each one taking hours, your fingers numb in the cold. You sew them onto a tunic, draping the child in a shimmering farewell, a promise for the next world. This isn't decoration. It's a sacred rite, a way to say this life mattered even in a frozen world. These Ice Age adornments, beads, pendants shaped like deer bracelets from reindeer antler, show a people who see beauty in survival. You dye beads with red ochre blood's colour, maybe, to invoke life or rebirth. Baltic amber, traded across icy plains, glitters in graves far from its source, hinting at networks older than cities. The symmetry, the rhythm of these pieces isn't just craft, it's a language of loss and legacy. A leader's heavy necklace or a shaman's bone pendant marks their role, their story etched in materials that outlast flesh. You bury them with care, knowing the earth will keep what you can't. Keep that fan spinning, let it carry the chill of ancient winters. What's an object that tells a story of someone you've lost? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this ancient craft alive. You're in the Bronze Age, where the world smells of molten metal and ambition. In ancient Egypt you clutch a scarab amulet, its carved beetle shape cool against your palm, promising rebirth as sure as the sun rises. Across the river in Mesopotamia you wear a cylinder seal strung on sinew, etched with gods who guard against demons. These aren't mere trinkets, they're your armour against a universe bristling with curses and bad luck. You believe they shield you from illness, or the evil eye, their power as real as the Nile's flood, or the dust of a ziggurat. Crafted with care, they're buried with pharaohs tucked into children's tunics or worn by soldiers marching to war. Gold gleams with the god's eternal flesh, lapis lazuli hums with celestial blue and turquoise whispers of protection. In Egypt you see the eye of Horus dangling from a child's neck, warding off drowning, while cobras in gold coil around a king's tomb, spitting divine fury. In Mesopotamia your seal rolls across clay, signing your name and invoking sacred defence. These amulets bridge earth and sky, making the unseen feel close like a friend at your shoulder. You wear them daily, their weight a quiet prayer for safety in a world that doesn't promise it. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a desert wind. What's a charm you've carried for luck? Share it in the comments and let's keep this ancient magic glowing. You're in ancient Sumer, where Queen Puabi lies in a tomb draped in gold and lapis lazuli, her headdress a crown of wealth that screams power even in death. In Egypt, pharaohs don broad collars heavy with turquoise and enamel, their cobra crowns hissing divine rule. Across the sea in China, emperors wear jade not for flash, but for its smooth purity, a mirror of their moral might. Jewellery is no longer just protection or beauty. It's a shout I rule and you don't. You see it in every bead, every gem, a language of status louder than words tying the wearer to gods and glory. These pieces aren't just worn, they're wielded. In Sumer Pubi's beaded cape took countless hands to craft a display of her city's might. In Egypt, even noble kids sport amulets, their gold marking them as chosen. In China, jade burial suits sewn with gold thread promise immortality for the elite alone. You notice Roman senators flashing signet rings, each crest a key to power, or Greek priests in laurel-shaped gold, their wealth a nod to sacred favour. Jewellery's political, now sealing marriages, buying loyalty or bribing gods. You wear it and the world knows your place, or so you hope. Keep that fan spinning, let it carry the weight of ancient gold. What's a symbol that's defined your status? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this story of power shining. You're in a Bronze Age workshop, the air thick with charcoal and the tang of molten metal. In Egypt, you watch a goldsmith wield a blowpipe coaxing fire to shape a scarab pendant that gleams like the sun. In Crete, Minoan artisans twist gold wire into filigree so delicate it looks like a goddess's breath frozen in metal. These aren't just jewellers, they're alchemists turning raw earth into stories you can wear. You see them master granulation, fusing tiny gold spheres onto a surface like stars on a night sky. Each bead a test of patience and heat. Their tools are simple stone drills, clay moulds, but their skill feels like magic centuries ahead of its time. In Mesopotamia, you marvel at lost wax casting, a wax model sculpted coated in clay, then melted away to leave a mould for molten bronze. The result, hollow rings and pendants light as a whisper, but intricate as a saga. You spot intaglio seals carved with gods and lions rolled across clay to sign a merchant's deal or ward off spirits. These techniques, granulation, filigree casting, aren't just craft. They're engineering a dance of fire and precision. You hold a Minoan bee pendant, its gold wings shimmering, and feel the weight of human ingenuity. This jewellery isn't just beauty. It's a code whispering of trade talent and a world waking up. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a forge's bellows. What's a craft you admire for its skill? Share it in the comments, and let's keep this ancient art burning. You're on a dusty caravan trail, the sun scorching your back, as you carry a sack of lapis lazuli from Afghanistan's mines. This deep blue stone, more prized than gold, will travel thousands of miles across deserts, rivers and mountain passes to grace a Mesopotamian queen's neck or an Egyptian pharaoh's tomb. You're part of a web that spins jewellery into a global story where a single gem whispers of empires and ambition. Phoenician sailors swap glass beads for amber in North Africa, while Silk Road traders carry jade from China to Roman markets. You see Egyptian lotus motifs bloom in Iberian graves. Assyrian lions roar on Greek rings. Jewellery is no longer local. It's a passport across cultures. These gems and metals aren't just pretty, they're power. You trade a turquoise ring for grain, offer a gold bracelet to seal a king's truce, or bury a pearl with a warrior to honour their soul. In a Central Asian grave, you find a Chinese jade hairpin, hinting at alliances forged over wine and promises. Jewellery's currency, diplomacy, a way to carry your world with you. For women, it's wealth you can wear. Sell a necklace to survive famine or fund a journey. You hold a lapis bead, it's blue heavy with history, and feel connected to hands you'll never know. Keep that fan spinning, let it carry the dust of ancient roads. What's an object that's travelled with you? Drop it in the comments and let's keep this global tale shining. You're in ancient Egypt, standing by the Nile's shimmering edge where love isn't just whispered, it's worn. You exchange a ring with your beloved, its woven reed, or ivory circle unbroken, a promise of eternity. They slide it onto your third finger left hand, where a vein they say runs straight to your heart. In Rome you'd wear an iron annulus engraved with clasped hands, or your lover's face, not just a gift, but a contract binding dowries and dreams. These rings aren't mere trinkets, they're vows made solid, carrying weight as heavy as any oath sworn under the god's gaze. Across cultures you see love take shape in bonewood or gold. In tribal lands you and your partner swap matching talismans, carved teeth or beads, that hum with connection, even across seas. In India you're adorned as a bride with gold bangles and a Mangal Sutra, its black beads tied by your groom whispering prosperity and protection. Renaissance Europe brings posy rings, their bands hiding secret poems, or locks of hair, a private archive of devotion. You wear these clothes, their touch a reminder of someone who makes your heart beat louder than a war drum. Jewellery becomes memory trust, a thread linking you through time. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a lover's whisper. What's a token that holds your heart? Share it in the comments, and let's keep this ancient romance glowing. You're in a Mesopotamian temple, the air heavy with incense, where a priestess dons a pectoral gleaming with beads shaped like stars. It's not just adornment, it's a uniform channeling gods through its weight. In Egypt you wear a menat necklace, its rattle shaken to please Hathor, goddess of love, its beads promising fertility. Across India, your gold earrings spark energy at your chakras, aligning soul and body, while Maya priests wear jade pendants, green as life itself, to carry their breath into the afterlife. These aren't accessories, they're prayers you wear, bridges to the divine, each bead a whisper to the cosmos. Gold shines with immortality, lapis lazuli hums with heaven's blue, and every clasp might mimic a god's weapon. You see crosses etched on early Christian amulets warding off plague, or Mesopotamian seals repelling demons with carved lions. In the Americas, jade in a ruler's mouth promises safe passage beyond death. Jewellery's your shield, your plea your way to carry the sacred close, whether you're a farmer or a high priest. It's not about wealth, it's about meaning, a thread tying you to something eternal. You wear it, and the heavens feel near their shimmer warm against your skin. Keep that fan spinning, let it carry the scent of ancient altars. What's a symbol that connects you to something bigger? Drop it in the comments and let's close this ancient story with reverence. You're strolling through the quiet wheat fields of northern France near the sleepy village of Naor, where the Somme River glints lazily under a summer sky. The ground feels solid ordinary, but beneath your feet lies a secret no one expects, a sprawling underground city carved into chalk, a labyrinth stretching over 3 kilometres with 300 rooms. You find the entrance a humble gap on a wooded slope and step inside. The air turns cool, heavy with the scent of earth and silence like a whisper from another time. Passages twist, opening into chambers, kitchens, stables, even a chapel carved by hands, long gone their purpose, as shadowy as the tunnels themselves. No record pins down why or when Knowles was built, but whispers point to the Middle Ages, maybe the 9th to 13th centuries when Viking raids or wars like the 100 Years' War drove people to hide. Was it a refuge for monks, a sanctuary for villagers? The walls don't talk, but their silence feels alive, like they're guarding a story. You trace the smooth chalk, imagining families huddled here, fires lit without choking the air thanks to clever ventilation. It's not just a cave, it's a ghost village invisible from above, built to outlast chaos. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a breeze through ancient tunnels. What's a hidden place you've discovered? Share it in the comments, and let's step deeper into this underground mystery. You're deep in Naor's chalky depths, your fingers brushing walls smoothed by centuries of careful hands. This underground city isn't a haphazard burrow, it's a marvel of grit and genius carved one pickaxe swing at a time. The chalk's soft, like cutting through cold butter but building a stable labyrinth. That's a puzzle solved without machines. You see rooms shaped for purpose, small ones to trap body heat, storage nooks to keep grain cool, and halls wide enough for gatherings. Ventilation shafts snake to the surface hidden in trees or disguised with brush letting fires burn without suffocating the air. Smoke drifts out unseen, a secret kept from enemies above. Horses were stabled down here, their hoofprints long faded, meaning people planned to stay for weeks, maybe months. You imagine the planning generations digging reinforcing ceilings, rounding doorways to prevent collapse. It's not grand like a castle, but it's clever, efficient, a testament to quiet survival. No forced labour's trace lingers. This feels like a community's work, each room a layer of hope against invasion. You stand in a corridor, the silence thick, and feel the weight of their will. A people who built not to conquer, but to endure. Keep that fan spinning, let it hum like the echo of ancient picks. What's a creation you admire for its ingenuity? Drop it in the comments, and let's keep exploring this chalky underworld. You're in the heart of Naor's underground labyrinth, standing in a chapel carved from chalk, its simple altar glowing faintly under torchlight. The air feels heavy, sacred, as if prayers still linger in the stone. No one knows who first swung the pickaxe here, but whispers point to monks in the Middle Ages, their robes dusty as they carved this sanctuary beneath northern France's fields. Viking longships prowled the coasts, and later the 100 Years' War sent armies trampling through Picardy. Monks caught in the crossfire might have started this hidden city, a refuge where faith could survive steel. The chapel's arching ceiling and faint etchings, maybe verses now worn, suggest worship, not war, a place for souls to breathe. As centuries passed, you see villagers joining them, entire families slipping below during raids. Oral tales claim Naor held 3,000 people at once, a silent city under the enemy's boots. You imagine whispers in the dark, the clink of pots, a child's muffled cry, all while danger stalked above. This wasn't a bunker, but a society with rules, rations and rooms assigned by need or status. The monks' work became a lifeline, their chapel a heart beating in the chalk. You touch the cool walls, feeling their defiance, a community that carved hope into the earth. Dim those lights, let the fan hum like a monk's chant. What's a place that's sheltered you in tough times? Share it in the comments, and let's keep this underground saga alive. You walk Naor's silent tunnels, their chalk walls cool and still, as if time itself forgot this place. By the 18th century, the underground city had vanished from memory, its entrance choked with vines. Its stories faded like smoke. Peace settled over northern France, and with it the need for hiding dwindled. You see families returning to fields, building homes above ground, their tales of the labyrinth thinning with each generation. No one told the next child that beneath their feet lay a chalk-carved world. The Napoleonic Wars roared past, the French Revolution churned, yet Naor stayed silent, a myth whispered to scare children about ghostly monks in the dark. Then in the 1880s, a spark of curiosity reignited its story. You follow Father Ernest Danacourt, a priest with a shovel and a hunch, as he clears brush from a strange dip in the land. Locals call him mad, but he uncovers the entrance, then rooms hundreds, twisting deeper than anyone dreamed.